A lot of guys walk into their first go bar and immediately make mistakes before they even sit down. And here's the thing, no one ever told you about because everyone around you is either trying to take from you, trying to protect their business, or just too embarrassed to admit they made the same mistakes when they first got here. So that's what this is, the real guide. The one I wish someone handed me before I walked through that curtain for the first time. Let's dive into it. I'm going to begin with the one that gets people in actual trouble, not just embarrassed. And that's photos. Don't take photos. I don't mean don't post them. I don't mean be discreet. I mean do not take out your phone. Do not use the front camera like nobody can tell. Don't do it. Here's why it's more serious than you think. Right now, look around, go. The girls-to-customer ratio in most of these places is skewed to the point where there are more eyes on you than at a job interview. You have the girls, you have the mammoth, you have the bartenders, you have the drink ladies, you have the security on the door, and the security walking the floor. Every single one of those people sees you the second you take out your phone. Every single one. And here's what happens. If they're in a good mood, they take your phone and delete everything on it. That's the best case scenario. If they're not in a good mood and security guards everywhere in the world are in the business of finding reasons to not be in a good mood, they smash it. Then what do? Call the police and tell them what exactly that you were taking unauthorized photos inside an adult entertainment venue in Thailand and they took your phone. The police are going to agree with the bar because they're Thai and you are a tourist. And that is just how that works. So you're out a phone, you're out your dignity, you might be out a night in a cell, all because you wanted to send your mate a video. It's not worth it. Now, if you genuinely want a photo, if you have a girl you like, and you want something to remember the night, just ask. Ask the mama if the girl is okay with a photo, offer to pay a little something. I've seen girls set up entire little photo moments because a guy asked nicely and slipped her a couple $100 baht. The girls are not against being photographed. They're against being photographed without their permission in a place where their face connected to that location could cause real problems for their actual lives. Respect that. Ask first. Everything opens up when you ask first. This one doesn't get you in trouble with the law. It just gets you laughed at for the rest of the night by every single person in that room, including the girl you were hoping to impress. We don't want to see it. I know you're having fun. I know the drinks hit. I know the music is good, and you feel like you're part of the show. You're not. You're a customer. And the moment you jump on that stage and grab that pole, every girl in the room has mentally filed you as the drunk tourist. And the mammothon is looking at security with that look that means, give him about 90 seconds. The girls on that stage are working. They are up there to make money and to attract customers into spending money. You getting up there doesn't help that. It interrupts that, and it does not make you look fun and spontaneous. It makes you look like someone who's never been anywhere before. The only exception to this is if you are a genuinely attractive woman and the girls personally invite you up, in which case the normal rules of reality have temporarily suspended themselves and this note doesn't apply to you. Everyone else, stay in your seat, drink your drink, enjoy the show. That's what you're there for. Bar fines. This is tip 3, and it's also where most guys leave money on the table, or more accurately, leave money on the bar's table. Quick explanation for anyone who doesn't know, a bar fine is a fee you pay directly to the bar to take one of the girls out of the venue. The logic is that the bar loses a working girl for part of the night, so they charge you to compensate for that. Makes sense as a business model. What doesn't make sense is paying it when you don't have to. Here's the thing. Most guys don't figure out until they've been here a while. 9 times out of 10, if you ask the girl directly, "Hey, do you have Line? Do you have WhatsApp? Do you have Instagram?" She'll give it to you just like that. And then you can arrange to meet her after her shift ends, when she walks out the door on her own time. And nobody is charging you anything for the privilege of her company. Now, run the math on this. Bar fines in most places start at 500 baht. In busier or more upscale spots, 800 to 1,000 baht is common. If you're seeing 2 or 3 girls across a week of being in Pattaya or Bangkok, that's 2 or 3 bar fines, which is literally enough money for an extra girl or an extra night out or a really good meal somewhere. That said, and I want to be honest here, there are reasons to pay the bar fine. If it's a busy night and you want her now, not at 2 a.m. after her shift. If the bar is strict and she's worried about contact outside work, if you want the certainty, those are real reasons and they're worth thinking about. But as a default, ask for the contact first. The worst you can say is no, and then you pay the bar fine and move on. Making the ask first costs you nothing. Always check your bill. This one is pure arithmetic, and it catches people every single night. The way billing works in most go-os is you get a physical bin or a slip, and every time you order something, they add to it. One beer, that's a line. Another beer, another line. Lady drink, another line. By the time you've been there 2 hours and had a decent night, that bill can have 12, 15, 20 lines on it. And if you're a few drinks in, you are not doing detailed accounting. Some of these places are completely honest. Some of them are not. And the scam isn't usually big. It's 20 baht here, 40 baht there, an extra drink that nobody ordered appearing on your bill because they figured you wouldn't check. And honestly, most people don't check. So, it works. It keeps working because most people don't check. The fix is simple. Whenever your bill starts to feel like it's getting long, ask to pay it and start fresh. Just say, "Check, please." Or honestly, even in Thai, you can just point at the bin and mime handing over money. They understand. Pay that bill, get a new one, you're back to zero, and you know exactly what you're spending from that point. 20 or 30 extra baht sounds like nothing, I know. But this stuff compounds. If you're in Pattaya or Bangkok for 2 weeks and going out every night and every single night you're getting skimmed a 100 red baht off your bill, that's real money over a trip. More importantly, you're being scammed and you should just not accept that as a thing. That's okay. Check the bill. Always sit with the girl you actually want one. This one seems obvious until the moment you're actually in there and it stops being obvious. Here's what happens to almost every first-timer. You walk in. You're a little overwhelmed, maybe a little nervous, trying to look like you know what you're doing, and the most confident, most outgoing girl in the room clocks you immediately and comes right over and sits down, because that's her skill. That's why she's making money. She is very good at identifying the guy who doesn't know what to do and making the decision for him. So now she's sitting next to you, and she asks if you want to buy her a drink, and you're thinking, this isn't really who I wanted to talk to, but she's already here, and I don't want to be rude. So you buy her the drink, and now she tells her friends, this guy buys drinks. And now you've lost face. Which in Thai bar culture means the girls have collectively decided you're not a decisive person. Which means the girl you actually wanted to sit with has already moved on to someone who looked more certain. The solution is dead simple. When you walk in, take 5 seconds. Just look. You don't have to sit immediately. If there's a girl you want to talk to, walk toward her. Hold your hand out. Gesture her over. Make that very clear choice. Be the guy who decided, not the guy who got decided for. I will tell you from personal experience that I once borrowed a laser pointer from the security guard. Don't do this, by the way. I say this as someone who did it because I kept pointing at the wrong girl and the bartender kept misunderstanding me. And I just took the laser pointer and I pointed at exactly who I wanted. She came over and sat with me the rest of the night. Do not borrow the security guard's laser pointer, but do be that direct, just with words and eye contact, which is more normal. The next is, don't drink draft beer. Seriously, I know it's cheap. That's the point. 40B, 60B, that's about $1.50. I get it. But here's what draft beer signals in a go context. It signals that you're here to spend as little money as possible. And the girls read that signal immediately because it's their job to read that signal. They're doing that math every time a new customer sits down. Is this person going to buy lady drinks? Are they going to tip? Are they worth spending time with? And the guy sipping on a 40 baht draft beer that he's made last 45 minutes is communicating no to all 3 of those questions before he's even opened his mouth. Now, I'm not saying you have to be a high roller. I'm not saying you need to order bottles of Dom Perignon to get attention. What I'm saying is, if you want to drink beer, just get a bottled beer. The price difference is maybe 10 to 15 B. You get more beer. You look like you know what you're doing. And crucially, you don't look like someone who showed up to a go bar in Thailand to spend the absolute minimum amount possible before going home. The girls are working. They're doing their job. They are going to spend their limited energy on the guys who look like they're going to make that time worthwhile. Draft beer is the fastest way to tell them you're not that guy. Bottled beer costs you almost nothing more and takes you out of that category entirely. The Mamathan and the security guys are actually your best friends. Most guys ignore the Mamathan unless they're trying to bar find someone. Most guys ignore security unless security is talking to them. Both of those are wasted opportunities. The Mamathan. And if you don't know who she is, look for the older woman, usually well-dressed, keeping an eye on everything, not dancing on stage. She knows everything that happens in that bar. She knows which girls are available for bar fine. She knows which girls have boyfriends and won't go anywhere. She knows which girl is the right match for what you're describing, if you describe it. And she knows who the regulars are and who they like, if you're nice to her. If you buy her a drink occasionally or just treat her like a human being instead of a piece of furniture, she becomes an enormous resource. She'll send your favorite girl over when you walk in. She'll let you know if the girl you want is busy and how long until she's not. She'll tell you things before you spend money finding them out the hard way. Same with security. I know they're big guys standing by a door. They don't seem like they have a lot to offer beyond standing there. But think about what security actually is in a place like this. It's the people with authority in the room. They decide who gets treated well and who doesn't. If you're a regular and security knows your face and you're good with them, you are a different category of customer than the guy nobody recognizes. Things happen faster, things go smoother, and in the very unlikely event that something goes sideways, you want those guys on your side. You don't have to slip them a 200B note every time you walk past. A handshake, a what's up. Treating them like people, that's usually enough. The tip doesn't hurt, but even without the tip, just being decent to them puts you in a good category. Now, we have the lady drinks. Okay, lady drinks. There's a lot to cover here, so let me go through it properly. First thing, know the price before you buy. Lady drinks range from about 150 bar on the low end to 250 or even 300 in nicer places or busier tourist areas. Some bars post it, some don't. If you don't see a menu, just ask. Nobody is going to think less of you for asking. How much is a lady drink is a completely normal question, and the girl or the bartender will tell you. This matters because the range between a 150 baht and 250 baht lady drink is real money over a night, especially if you're buying multiple. Second thing, the friend scam. This is very common. You're sitting with a girl, you're having a nice time, and suddenly another girl appears and sits down on the other side of you. Your girl introduces her as a friend. Friend smiles, makes small talk, and then eventually the question comes, can she have a drink too? And because you're in a good mood, and the girl you actually like is right there watching how you respond, it's very easy to say yes. Don't. You're not there to buy lady drinks for the friend. You don't know the friend. The friend has been sent over specifically because you look like someone who would say yes. Be polite, introduce yourself, be friendly. But you are well within your rights to say no thank you and go back to talking to the girl you wanted. She won't be offended. She knows the game. If anything, she might respect that you weren't a pushover about it. Third thing, the speed drinker. Some girls have a system. They get the drink from you, they throw it back as fast as possible, and then they sit there with an empty glass, making it clear that the empty glass is your responsibility. Because now you're the one who looks bad if you don't replace it. Fix this early. When you buy her a drink, just say, and you can say it friendly, not like your words at her of anything. Take your time with that one. She'll know exactly what you mean. She's heard it before, and it resets the pace of the whole thing. Fourth, the stage sprint. You buy a girl a drink, she takes 2 sips, and then she's back up on stage for the next 4 songs. Now you're sitting there with a lady drink you paid for and no company to show for it. Before you buy the drink, ask, are you going back on stage soon? If she says she's going up in a few minutes, either say you'll get her a drink when she comes back, or just accept that you're buying a drink for a girl who's about to leave. That's a legitimate choice. Just make it consciously. One more thing on this. If a girl orders water instead of a drink, do not take offense. These girls are tiny. They're doing this 6 nights a week. They cannot physically drink 20 alcoholic drinks a night and still function. Water means she's taking care of herself. It also sometimes means she likes you enough to actually want to have a real conversation, not just race through drinks. Don't read it as offense. I don't remember what number this is, but make sure to tip the right person. This matters more than you think. This is one that sounds like a small thing, but it has actual long-term consequences if you're planning on coming back. When you leave money at the end of the night, where you put it matters. If you leave it in the check holder or the little folder they bring with your bill, it gets split. It goes to the whole bar, staff, bartenders, cleaning, whoever, which is fine if that's what you want. But if you're trying to tip a specific girl, she's getting a tiny fraction of what you left. If you want the girl to get the money, put it directly in her hand. Here's why this matters practically. If you found a girl you like and you want her to remember you next time, and you're going to go back because that's how this works, she needs to associate you with being worth her time. And tips are how that happens. I have a girl I see regularly at a place I go to. She is the most in-demand girl in that bar. Guys are buying her drinks all night, every night. The only reason she comes to me the moment I walk in, even from across to have actually got to her. She knows my face. She knows what I'm capable of. That relationship took maybe 2 months to build, and it cost me a few well-placed tips. The flip side, if you tipped 500 baht and you thought she got it and she didn't, and you come back next week wondering why she's treating you like just another guy, that's why. The money went to the club. She has no idea you meant to be generous with her specifically. Hand it to her directly. Make eye contact. That's it. Also, be upfront about what you want. This one makes people uncomfortable to talk about, but it saves everyone a lot of time and awkwardness, including you. These girls hear everything. They have heard every possible version of every possible thing you might want to say. Nothing is going to shock them. Nothing is going to embarrass them. They are professionals who work in an adult environment. You telling them what you're looking for is just information. It's efficient. Here's the scenario you want to avoid. You spend an hour, buy 3 lady drinks, pay a bar fine, get back to your hotel, and then find out that the particular thing you were hoping for is not something she does. Now you have to send her home. Now she's had her night disrupted. Now you've spent a bunch of money and have nothing to show for it except an awkward taxi ride back. Ask early. You don't have to be crude about it. You can be completely normal about it. Are you available for bar fine? Is a reasonable question. After a couple drinks, she'll say yes or no. If yes, you can ask what the arrangement would be and what she offers and what she doesn't. All of that information is available up front. It's only awkward if you make it awkward. The girls in these places don't all provide the same services, by the way. Some only do short time, some only do long time. Some have boyfriends and are genuinely just there for the social side and the lady drink income, and they'll never bar fine with anyone. You cannot tell from looking at someone which category they're in, so ask. It's the only way to find out, and it's completely normal to ask. Don't walk in speaking Thai. I know you've been here 3 weeks. You downloaded an app. You've been practicing. You know how to say hello and thank you. And maybe you've gotten the tones down on a couple of phrases that you practiced in the hotel room mirror. Do not walk into a go and lead with Thai. Here's why. The moment you demonstrate that you know some Thai, 2 things happen. First, you set an expectation that you understand more than you do. So now someone says something to you in actual conversational Thai at real speed with real slang, and you're standing there like you've been hit by a bus because your app didn't cover that. And now you look more lost than if you just spoke in English the whole time. Second, and this is more subtle, the girls in these places are actually trying to practice and improve their English. A lot of them are actively building their language skills because it helps them work better with international customers. When you come in speaking Thai, you're taking away their opportunity to use their English. You're not building a connection, you're short-circuiting one. Speak English or whatever your language is. Use simple, clear sentences. Be patient. They'll communicate back. If you want to make a cultural gesture, learn how to say one or two words and use them occasionally. That's charming. That's culturally aware. That's not the same as trying to hold a conversation in a language you've practiced for 3 weeks from a phone app. The one exception, if a girl asks you, "Do you speak Thai?" Because they genuinely ask this sometimes. You can say "Nit Noi" a little and then demonstrate the extent of that Nit Noi immediately. Say your 2 words, make a self-deprecating face, and move on. She'll appreciate the effort and not hold you to the implied fluency. The next one is the walk-in strategy for Soi 6 and open bar streets. Okay, this is a whole separate thing, and it's worth addressing because the street-level go-go scene is a completely different energy from sitting down inside a closed venue. On streets like Soi 6 in Pattaya, the girls are outside. They are pulling, grabbing, calling, smiling, doing everything physically possible to get you to come into their bar specifically. And if you're walking fast because you're nervous, you're doing it wrong. Slow down. That is the single most important piece of physical advice for walking a street like that. Walk slow. The girls who approach you, and they will approach you, give you a chance to look around. You might not like the first one who grabs you. That's fine. But standing still for a moment gives you a chance to actually see the options in front of you, which is all you need. If you want to go into a bar without any pressure, here's a technique that actually works. Don't make eye contact with anyone when you walk in. Look above the girls' heads. Walk straight to a seat. Sit down. Order your drink. Now you're seated. You have a drink and you're in a position of choice. You can look around the bar and decide if anyone interests you. And you can make the first move from a position of calm instead of responding to whoever grabbed your arm at the door. If you end up in a bar with a girl you're not that interested in, but you're already sitting there, it costs you 1 drink to stay and have a look around. 1 drink is fine. If nothing is working for you in that bar, you can finish your drink and move on. Leaving after 1 drink is not disrespectful. It happens constantly, and no one takes it personally. The bar made 1 drink sale. That's their deal. And here's the counterintuitive tip on that street. Go for energy over aesthetics. I know, easy to say, but I've seen guys spend an entire night chasing the most beautiful girl in the bar who has absolutely nothing to say and isn't interested in being there. And I've seen guys have the best night of their trip with a girl who was fun, engaged, spoke great English, and made every hour feel like 20 minutes. The conversation is the night. The energy is the night. Keep that in mind. Now, this one gets people every single time. You've paid the bar fine. You've paid a real amount of money. You're walking out the door with her, and immediately she has a suggestion for where you should go. Usually it's to see a friend or go to a specific bar on Walking Street or to a Thai nightclub you've never heard of. Here's what happens at the friend's bar. There's a table, there's a bottle. The bill is going to be 4 times what anything should cost, and you're going to pay it because you're there and it's already happened. Here's what happens at the Thai nightclub. Nobody speaks English. Nobody explains what's happening. A bottle appears in front of you. Music is at 140 decibels. And by 2 o'clock a.m., she is too drunk to do anything except need a taxi home. You paid the bar fine. You decide where you go. That does not mean being controlling or unkind. It means simply saying, "I want to go here," and going there. If she has a preference, and it sounds like a good time, and it's a place you've heard of, sure, but if she's directing you to somewhere you've never heard of to meet people you've never met, just politely decline and pick your location. Somewhere like Romantic Garden, if you want something chill and low-key with good conversation. Walking Street Clubs if you actually want to go dancing. Tree Town if you want cheap drinks and pool. Any of those work. The point is that you pick the location, not that you ended up wherever her agenda was pointed. The part nobody talks about in the situation. Everything I've told you so far is about the mechanics, the rules, the things to avoid. But here's the part that actually separates a good night from a great one. Reading whether the girl actually wants to be there. Not every girl is happy at work. Not every girl is having a good night, and some girls will sit with you, drink your drinks, and run out the clock without ever actually engaging. You'll know when it's happening. She's checking her phone, she's giving one-word answers, she's looking around the room at other customers, she's drinking fast, so it's over sooner. When you feel that, You don't have to push through it. Finish your drink. Wish her a good night and go find someone who's actually in a good mood. That's not rude. That's just honest about what the interaction is. The reverse is also true. Sometimes a girl is genuinely interesting. She has things to say. She asks you real questions. She's laughing at actual things and not at a performance of laughing. When you find that, and you will find that if you're spending time in these places, don't rush it. Don't immediately start thinking about what comes next. Just be where you are for a bit. Those are the nights you actually remember. Here's my final thought. And nobody says out loud about go bars. The money you spend isn't really buying what you think it's buying. The bar, fine. The lady drinks, the tips. None of that is actually buying a connection. It's buying access. It's paying for time and opportunity. What happens in that time and opportunity is still entirely about how you show up. The guys who have the best experiences in these places, and I've watched a lot of guys have both great and terrible nights, are the ones who treat it like a social situation, not a transaction. They're curious, they're present, they're respectful without being apologetic. They know what they want, and they're direct about it without being aggressive. They tip the right people. They don't overstay their welcome with girls who aren't interested. They know when to move and when to stay. None of that requires you to be good-looking or wealthy or able to speak Thai. It requires you to pay attention and have some basic awareness of how other people are responding to you, which honestly is the same skill set that makes you good at any social situation anywhere in the world. Everything I've told you in this video is usable on your first night. No experience required. And if you apply even half of it, your first night will be better than most guys' fifth night in the same places. Go have a good time. Be decent to people. Check your bill. Subscribe and hit the thumbs up if this helped.